Back in 2012, when it was announced that Disney was purchasing Lucasfilm, I could not contain my excitement. As a lifelong Disney fan and as a lifelong Star Wars fan, this was the perfect scenario for me. Announcing the sequel trilogy, wondering what possibilities would come from this announcement. New theme parks, new toys, new animated series, a Pixar movie with Star Wars. Who knows what was going to happen? We had George Lucas telling us that he believed in someone called Kathleen Kennedy. I didn't know who Kathleen Kennedy was, but George Lucas and Bob Iger and Steven Spielberg all told us that we need to trust Kathleen Kennedy, and they are handing over the reins of Lucasfilm to her. So I was her number one cheerleader. I was the biggest fan of this news. And as we get closer to Episode 7, different directors' names were being thrown out there, and ultimately it was announced that J.J. Abrams would be directing Episode 7. I was very happy about that. And then we move into, it was announced The Force Awakens as a title. A little bit underwhelming, but did not hurt my excitement at all. We go through the trailers, they're working very heavily on nostalgia, and I loved everything I was seeing. Going into the premiere of The Force Awakens, I drove down to Orlando. I went to Walt Disney World because I wanted to see the Star Wars fireworks at Hollywood Studios the night before The Force Awakens. I stood in line for 8 hours to go see The Force Awakens. I saw it multiple times. I bought all the toys. I was 100% invested. Now, I had some problems with The Force Awakens, but overall, I believed in the storytelling process. I didn't like that Han and Leia weren't together. I didn't like that Han was a deadbeat dad. I didn't like that Han died by the hands of his son, Ben Solo. I had my issues, but I believed in the storytelling process. Getting closer to The Last Jedi, I was at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, and I started to question some of the things that I've been seeing. Obviously, I noticed a lot of the social justice pandering going on, and it did bother me, but I chose to look past it because I believed in what they were doing. At least I believed they had a plan in what they were doing. I was at the Battlefront panel, and I'll never forget before that panel started, someone on stage stands up, and they said, "Do we have any girl gamers in the crowd?" And at that moment, I just looked around, and it was so cringe. A few girls screamed, yeah, maybe 5 or 6, but overall, it really showed me that my concerns were actually pretty valid, but I still was not willing to speak out yet. I was still not ready to call Disney out on all of this. I went to see The Last Jedi, and I was very confused, and it took me multiple viewings because I am a Star Wars fan. I'm a prequel defender. I can't hate a Star Wars movie. I went and put all of this time and effort and energy into The Force Awakens, all of this hype. I defended the prequels for years against criticism from other Star Wars fans. How could I hate a Star Wars movie? And it took me a little while before I was really able to fully accept how I felt about that movie. But once I fully accepted it, it opened my eyes to so many different things. Now, I've talked about this many times, but my biggest problem with The Last Jedi wasn't the movie. It's a bad movie. It's bad for Star Wars, and it's objectively bad overall. My biggest problem was the reaction from Lucasfilm and Disney to the reaction. They decided that the fans were racist and sexist. They decided we were intimidated by women. They decided we were against diversity. They decided that they did nothing wrong and the fans were the ones that did everything wrong. And this is how I got to where I'm at today. And unfortunately, I am talking to you right when The Rise of Skywalker is releasing. And if you've been paying attention to the internet, whether you've seen the film or not, you realize that this movie is a disaster. I know every single thing that has happened in this movie, and I haven't even seen it. I've seen every leak. I've seen all of the video. I've had people send me literally probably 75% of the movie up to this point. And let me tell you, it is horrible. Horrible in every possible way imaginable, and I can't believe that we got to this point, but here we are. Here we are at the end of the what should be called the sequel trilogy, but now is known as the Disney trilogy. Here we are, frustrated, lost, confused, but ultimately vindicated. We are vindicated because the fandom menace came together. We developed new relationships. We developed new friendships. And that is the beauty of all of this. Disney has completely ruined Star Wars. Yes, there are good aspects to Star Wars right now with The Mandalorian, with Jedi Fallen Order, but those are outliers. Overall, the Disney trilogy has been destroyed. You destroyed classic characters. You destroyed classic stories. You destroyed it all. You betrayed George Lucas. You stabbed him in the back. You lied right to his face, and then you turned around and did the complete opposite of everything that you led him to believe you would do. And now it's finally blowing up in your face. And every single person that has been standing against this is vindicated. We are fans of Star Wars. We are passionate about Star Wars. We want the best from our entertainment, and we're going to continue to stand for what we believe is best. And maybe you think that that doesn't make any sense. Maybe you think that we're man babies. Maybe you think that we're all straight white dudes in our mom's basement. And that's perfectly fine because we know the truth and we have the truth on our side. And we are never going to stop until we feel that our entertainment is no longer infected by social justice warrior politics and identity politics and all of the other politically driven nonsense that's going on. So I am happy to stand with all of my friends within the Fandom Menace. I am happy to stand with Geeks and Gamers, and I am happy that we are all vindicated because the Rise of Skywalker is going to be a complete and total disaster. I don't know if it's going to make money. I don't know what it's going to do in terms of the financial aspects. What I know is that from a creative standpoint, it has blown up in their face, and it deserves to blow up in their face. It deserves it. They deserve every single bit of criticism they're getting, and we are not going to stop. This is only the beginning. So thank you to every single person that has supported me, supported Geeks and Gamers, supported the Fandom Menace, and all of the channels connected to Geeks and Gamers and the Fandom Menace. You have all helped us through this difficult time to see our favorite characters be destroyed by a political machine, by people that don't know anything about Star Wars and don't care anything about Star Wars. You're all held accountable at Disney. Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, all of you, J.J. Abrams, every single person, Kasdan. There are so many people that, that do come out looking really good, like Colin Trevorrow, Lord and Miller. There are definitely people that were interested in honoring Star Wars. There were people that wanted to carry out the right things, but ultimately Kathleen Kennedy saw that it did not fit her agenda, and therefore she had to push them out the door. And it is absolutely ridiculous. But I look forward to the next few months because the fallout is going to be absolutely unbelievable. It's going to be much like Game of Thrones Season 8. It's going to be very interesting, and I am happy to stand along so many of you. So thank you all for the support. I appreciate it. We appreciate it as an organization, as a group, as a company at Geeks and Gamers, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of us. Have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, Solo Lost Money, and we will talk to you later.